And you could imagine, growing up in a small house in Hammond, Indiana, right outside of the city of Chicago, to a father who was a crane operator for decades, and my mother worked a short stint as a grocery store clerk. Look, we learned English in school. Our parents sent us to school to learn English.
Welcome back to The Burn. This is such an awesome opportunity to have Manny Amezcua with me, and I think what you guys now know about The Burn is, look how sharp this guy looks, right? But this is not about your accolades. This is not about sharp clothes. You actually got me into a suit. Not many people can get me into a suit, so I'm excited to be in Detroit with you. But this is not about your accolades. This is not about championships. This is not about the fact that you were a college football player. This show is about understanding what goes underneath that purpose, underneath your why, the actual burn. And what I want you to help people understand is, what is that burn for you? Where does it come from? That passion, that fire that lights up your purpose and your why that has caused you to go impact so many people in your life.
That's a conversation I've had many times, and I always enjoy, sharing my story, which is really the story of my three brothers and I. And, we're super blessed to be born into the perfect parents for us, and we talk about that all the time. Like, my father and my mother were the perfect parents for me. And so being the third of four boys to two immigrants from Mexico, it's a unique journey. And I think back to all of the great dreams that I've had since I was a child that were really inspired at 4340 Torrance in Hammond, Indiana, on that little white porch in front of that Cape Cod house. It just really comes down to what a visionary and what an insane work ethic and what a kindness my mother and father demonstrated throughout their entire lives to everyone in every single situation ever. And you could imagine, growing up in a small house in Hammond, Indiana, right outside of the city of Chicago, to a father who was a crane operator for decades, and my mother worked a short stint as a grocery store clerk. Look, we learned English in school. Our parents sent us to school to learn English. But I think about the greatest lesson I learned at that time in my life as a young boy, and it was that you could have the greatest faith in the world. We could grow up in the greatest free country in the world. We could have the greatest family, the perfect family for us, and really pride ourselves in our fitness and being a ferocious competitor in everything in life. But without financial security, stability, and success, life sucked. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to live your life not necessarily having all of the options, if not privileges, that other children around you have. And at those ages, it's not for us to understand. It's not for us to understand. But when I think back to I know what my purpose is. My purpose is to be of someone of value every single day I wake on this planet to other humans. That is my singular purpose in life. But the burn is every painful memory and every joyous memory I have growing up in that home with the perfect parents, with perfect brothers for me, and eventually, living a life of many mistakes and wrong turns, but that eventually led me to marrying the perfect woman and the perfect mother to our children, Ava and Atlas. And I can't tell you how much Samantha's just truly the perfect person in my life to continue the legacy that my parents will be leaving behind for us when they pass.
See, this is what drives me, right? Really understanding, that takes my mindset to a whole different place, right? You said the burn, it's the pain, but also the joyous times.
100%.
And I think sometimes we don't recognize that where you are right now is part of your story. We don't have to, get into a vehicle and jump 20 years into the future and have to know exactly where we're going to be. It's understanding that pain, but also those joys can fuel you to go now live, and you're living it. And one of the things I admire about you is you're not one of those people who has this big ego that's going to walk into a room like, don't you know I do all this stuff? But it's deserved for people to know how much you give of yourself, how you pour into people. You had that vision, and you now live it. And I think for all of us, that's what I love about these real stories. And it's quick, right? We all know what it is, but stay connected to your burn. It's that burn in your heart that makes you special. It's that burn that I have from my mom that enables me to know I can keep fighting. And for each of you, we're going to keep bringing these to you because we want you to stay connected to that burn that lights you up to live a life intentionally like this man. So Manny, always great being with you.
Thank you, brother.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.